Hello, how's it going? Let me bring Mr. Ninja here. And there we go. Hello, Mr. Ninja, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect, I can hear you too.
How's the volume? I moved the mic a lot closer.
That is fine, I can regulate you on my end, and that should also ensure that the listeners will hear you just fine. Or at least our one listener, which is Nephilim. He shouldn't even be here. I believe he's still underage, and this podcast will very much delve into some deep and explicit topics. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, and I believe Spartacus itself is probably slightly below X-rated.
Really? Like, I already told this to M9. Like, often after finishing an episode of Spartacus, I was like, fuck, I need to go watch some porn to make myself feel less dirty.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a very explicit show, which of course should be our warning, like for this, of course, first episode of the usual podcast of mine, where I just pick some strange topic. We have a first episode, like the pilot, and then we never progress or never continue in any way.
Perfect.
And I do believe you are the recurring guest.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we cannot really go back and check because some of these episodes are so unique and elusive that we don't even archive them.
Well, they must have been, like, some of them must have been a couple of years ago by now.
Indeed, indeed. But that's what I like, about this podcast. It's only for the elite, only for the exclusive crowd.
Exactly. If you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
basically
guys.
just for us, just it's a very selfish endeavor from us, but hey, we in our infinite kindness decided to allow this conversation between two nerds and appreciators, enthusiasts of this show to be broadcasted over the internet waves. So you're welcome. But before we start, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing just fine. Had a long weekend, but I'm very excited for the upcoming days of chill and peace, which means that I will most likely be working on Nerd Haven Season 2 all the time.
It's a good kind of stress.
Oh, yeah. As you might imagine, it's something is definitely coming. I cannot really say when. I can't really say what, but it is something, and it is coming.
But I feel like that it's a grand endeavor just by the different factions that there are. Like you could easily make an entire season just off of the Romans
Indeed.
or the Greeks or the Egyptians.
That is very much true, and that was the case on Season 3 on TOO, when we had just a Greek season. Even though, of course, people brought like time-traveling Romans and Persians and all sorts of other characters. Of course, the mythical characters were also present, but yes, this time around, no crazy mythical or fantasy creatures, at least not at the beginning.
Wow. So the admins are power gaming me. Okay, I see how it is.
Not just that, we are essentially how should I feel like there is a quote from Spartacus that best reflects my current intentions when it comes to the player base on Season 2. I believe a wise man once said in the famous show Spartacus, shit and piss, Jupiter's cock, something in the ass. Yes, there was a lot of such quotes, and we will go through some of them and react to them. But yeah.
Do you expect me to present ass and spread cheeks for you?
Yes. Oh my god, we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let me first say hi to the arriving guests, viewers, listeners. They are listeners for now, but they will be viewing soon because I prepared a presentation.
Love it, love it.
Do you like my starting screen?
I do. I'm going to take a guess that your face is mounted atop of Spartacus and mine is mounted atop Gannicus.
Of course. I mean, your how should we call it? unhealthy appreciation for Gannicus is well known to me, and I knew about this appreciation, this deep infatuation, before I even saw the show.
Okay, so I can start off with a very fun fact
Mm-hmm.
that
Hello,
I
Ellie,
discovered through
and hello, Green.
happenstance, but the actor who portrays Gannicus has the same birthday as me and the same first name as me.
Small world. Maybe you are Gannicus.
He's from the exact opposite side of the world. He's from Australia.
I mean, it is still not quite fully decided whether Australians are even people, but for the sake of this podcast, we will, for now, admit, or at least call them humans.
That's what I think. It's kind of like going into a different show, Stranger Things, where they have the upside down. And Australia literally is the upside down. And this is just some weird shadow clone of me.
Indeed, indeed. I wish I could say that there is any kind of character that I could relate to, but well, I guess a few, and we will get into it because just like always, I see some of my unique and very annoying shortcomings and qualities in many of these characters in this show, and I will tell you exactly who I relate to the most. But I think that's it for a little intro. Let's get right into it. Season 1! Let's start from the beginning. So, tell me, Mr. Ninja, when you first heard about this show, like what sparked your interest? Like, why did you decide to give it a watch? Of all the things that are like on Netflix or some weird obscure streaming services, why Spartacus?
So at the time, I was working a job where I worked 1 week on, 1 week off, right? So I'd work 7 12-hour shifts, and then I would have the whole next week off. And so I started to get into shows and binge watch them. This was back in my days of pirating versus streaming because streaming wasn't as readily available as it is now. And I definitely didn't have cable ever.
Right. Do you miss those days when you had to like BitTorrent things, when you had to download them from some obscure websites, instead of just basically paying a small fee for a subscription on like a streaming site?
Those days aren't over for me. I live in
I see.
Canada.
Canada.
We only have 35 million people, so we don't get what the rest of the world gets on our streaming. So I still have to find
Resort.
alternative means to watch
Right, right,
shows.
right. So let's just say that you are no stranger to certain. Let's.
Bay.
Yeah, I see. I see. Of course, you are uh, appreciative of certain lifestyles involving buccaneering,
Yes,
plundering
precisely.
booties of resources, and yes. Well, I can say with a high degree of certainty that I don't miss those days. Like I hated pirating, not for, like
Yeah.
for ethical reasons, but like looking up for some of these shows and like constantly live in a fear of am I downloading a virus or not? Like is FBI going to like choke me from the screen that I'm staring into, or are they like gonna electrocute me? It's just I didn't like it. It was a necessity. Like I had no money to afford any of these things. It was for me. It was always a problem of distribution. Like there were no other avenues that were even remotely feasible for me, to basically avoid pirating. And I either had a choice of, well, all my friends are watching it. All my friends are doing it. Why shouldn't I?
Exactly. And it was kind of a necessity based off of the corporate chokehold. Like most of the cable companies would charge you $100 a month for basic cable or slightly better than basic cable. And then they charged a premium if you actually wanted to watch good television. And it was to the extent where it was costing like a week's worth of groceries just to have cable. So it's
Indeed,
kind of a
indeed.
spit in their face where I can just get it without you. So see ya.
Yeah, and I feel like you could say the same about the music industry too. When Spotify wasn't around, or
Oh, I could
like,
go on a rant on that alone.
go for it. We have time.
Back in the day with dial-up internet, I was around when Napster was the thing. right? So for those of you unfamiliar with Napster, it was one of the first pirating services, and it was peer-to-peer. So with dial-up internet, it would take you an hour to 3 hours to download a song. And if you lost your internet connection, which was very frequent with dial-up, if somebody picked up a phone in the house, you lost your internet connection. With Napster, you would not be able to continue.
You had to
So
start over.
you had to start over that whole 1 to 3 hours. But I would still go through all the suffering of that, because back at that time, a band would come out with a CD. CD would have, let's say, 20 songs on it, probably less. There was a lot that were 13. They would charge you $20 for that CD. Now, they would
Hello,
play the
Granny.
one good song off of that CD on the radio, on the music television stations, stuff like that. They would play it nonstop, basically just saying, hey, listen to this one song. This is what our whole album is like. Then you would go out and spend $20 on that album, and that was the only good song. Everything else was trash.
Yeah, that was basically the
So
business
that was
model.
corporate false advertising, in my opinion.
Indeed, and that was basically the business model back in the day. Like they couldn't fill the entire CD with hits. You know, that had to be a filler. That had to be the main reason why you're buying it, and like a few surprising songs that you were basically forced to enjoy because of the gambler's fallacy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was cruel and ruthless because music for many is a lifestyle. You know, you cannot really afford missing out on certain hits. You need them to literally survive. Like, you know, when there is a heartbreak, like, how are you supposed to get over it without your favorite ballad?
Yeah, I need like my whole emo ensemble of songs. I need my hype songs for working out.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine working out without a song to hype you up? Impossible.
How would it even happen?
We would still be on trees, Ninja, just hitting ourselves in the head with like crude instruments.
I would have to find a doctore.
Oh, don't even get me started on my appreciation for Doctore. The first one, of course. But yes, we will get into it. So,
So I should probably answer that question.
yes, 10 freaking minutes later.
So the reason I found Spartacus was actually because I had become addicted to Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy. And I burnt through both of those in about a weekend, the available seasons, because they weren't done at that time.
Let me just write down that me and Ninja will have a podcast about Sons of Anarchy.
Excellent. And so what it was is at that time I started to become addicted to Prime Television because I'd never really experienced it before those two series. Before that, my kick was always anime. I would find the biggest, most well-written anime series and deep dive into that and binge watch it.
You are into anime.
Oh yeah, I've like that was probably one of the first things I started borrowing from the internet.
That is crazy. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, it started with Dragon Ball Z for my after school thing, and Pokemon.
Oh.
And then it was actually Full Metal Alchemist and Trigun were my first borrowed ones from the internet. And after that I was hooked. There was nothing that could be written better than anime in my opinion.
Hold on. You are a fan of Pokemon too?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, let me write it down. Me and Ninja will have a podcast about Pokemon. Never seen Spartacus? Oh, do we have a show for you? Oh, it looks like Mr. Tree might join us for the Pokemon talk too, because I have a lot of thoughts about Ash fucking Ketchum ever since season 1, like all the way through his fucking failures to win at least a single freaking title, except the one that didn't count, that no one really count, or that freaking Battle Frontier. Like, what the fuck? Just win something. Your freaking Pikachu must be like level 10 million. Like, literally impossible to lose. And fucking evolve him already. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm really sorry. I feel very strongly about the incompetence of Ash Ketchum, and I just.
The worst trainer.
Yes, he's so freaking useless. But so essentially, you got into the show, and how did you like it?
I was absolutely hooked almost right off the bat. I'm trying to think what it would have been in season 1 that really grabbed me. Because there was so many iconic moments to it, but I must have been hooked within the first 3 episodes if I kept watching it that quickly.
That is a very good point because the show starts in a pretty unique way. Most of the shows kind of start and they immediately throw you into what the rest of the season will be all about. This one kind of lets you think that maybe this is not going to be a show about gladiators. Maybe we'll actually see the life of Spartacus, before he, because everyone knows the legend of Spartacus, the freaking infamous gladiator who terrorized Rome and who was forced to fight for his life at the arena until he freaking made all the Romans pay for it and then got crucified. But yeah, like the beginning is kind of I liked it. It was like slow, but it definitely immediately let you know like who's the main protagonist, who are the assholes, and
Well, and it introduced you to the brutality really
yes.
quickly, like right off the bat. And I think that was a lot of it for me was just how accurately it portrayed what Roman lifestyle was like and how they were very much a take what we want, we're in control, everything is how we say it is.
At that point, Roman Empire was very expansionist. It wasn't like the humble little empire in Italy that was just growing, and kind of still figuring out what it can afford. This time around, like they were expanding literally everywhere, like all over the freaking world, and they saw themselves as gods that are unstoppable. And these barbarians are either going to fall, or they're going to be used to conquer other more permanent threats. And this was basically the start of the show. These the people of Spartacus. Oh my God, who are they called?
The Thracians.
Thracians, thank you. The Thracians were basically used by this Roman. Oh my God, what was his role?
Gaius, the legatus.
Yeah, legatus. Thank you. And yeah, they were. At first, of course, they were charmed, to join the cause because they would also benefit from it. But of course, the war wasn't really progressing well. And as always, with these prominent political positions, there are other motivations, other agendas. And Spartacus soon realized that they were basically going to be sacrificed. So he had no other choice but to pretty much fight against the man. And thought he did. He very much, very much, I would say, put him to shame, and yeah, he paid for it. The Roman came back, grabbed his wife, and there we have it. The main premise of the show.
Grabbed the wife and Spartacus.
Oh, that's true, and put him into
whose
shackles.
name whose name of course was not Spartacus. He had no name at this point in the show.
That is true. That is very true. It was a very nice feature of the show that I enjoyed, and that was eventually brought like at the end of season 3, and I very much enjoyed it. It was very sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as the show progressed through season 1, he was of course fighting against it. He wanted to be known for his true name, but once he eventually was brought, into the house of Batiates, the main gladiator school in Capua, one of the outskirts of Italy, kind of like a deserty town that was very much suffering from the lack of rain. He was basically lost. He was angry at the world, pretty edgy. And what I enjoyed very much about these early episodes was how weak he was. Like, at first, they kind of portrayed him as a badass, as a leader of his people, or at least like a partial leader of his people. But like his power level compared to the gladiators, you immediately notice that he was way over his head.
Oh yeah, the contrast that they put in the show several times, like it kind of remains a theme throughout the entire series, as they show how much more training and knowledge and prowess the gladiators have over everyone else. And yeah, he's introduced as a good scrapper, like a fighter soldier for his tribe of barbarians, as they would have been.
Yeah.
But as soon as he gets to that school, he's all chest puffing and stepping up to people, and he just gets shit kicked.
Yeah, he's basically Rocky, right? He gets his shit kicked, but he can take it. And even though he gets beat up and he hurts a lot, he always goes back and tries to prove himself.
Mm-hmm.
But
So when he first gets introduced to the arena, because he was supposed to be executed in the arena.
That is true. Very cool
I
moment.
I can't remember. Was he was fighting oh, what's his name?
He was basically fighting like 5 random dudes that were brought by the competing.
Salonius.
Yeah, Salonius. Great character, by the way.
Yeah, it was Salonius's gladiators, which again showed the contrast
Mm-hmm.
because it was the difference between Salonius's gladiators and Batiatus's gladiators, because he killed all of those gladiators of Salonius's without really too much of a problem. But
Indeed,
then he
indeed.
gets to the house of Batiatus and he gets his ass kicked.
Yes. The House of Batiatus is an incredible place. And, like, I wasn't overly. Like, I did enjoy the premise of the show. I did enjoy the historical aspect of it, but, like, seeing the blood and the gore, it's not really my thing. I saw the green screen being used so many freaking times and was like, this show is on a really low budget. Like, these fights, yes, they are brutal, but like the blood looks so freaking fake, and these bodies are made of like freaking sponge, and it's like marshmallows, and he cuts through them with a hot knife. Like, this is
That
weird. This is strange.
that actually reminds me of one of the things that caught me on the series so quickly. I found the combat and the green screen and the way the choreography for the combat was done was so familiar to 300 that it reminded me of like this, yeah, kind of fake, but it was a CGI ballet of combat, kind of like what 300 was to me.
Great point. And I think that's exactly the reason why the show actually started to feel familiar once they started fighting at the Colosseum, especially. And it's not just because of that. There are other references to 300 that I will mention as we will go through the characters. But yeah, that is an amazing point. Indeed, the fights definitely felt very 300ish. The heroes always have this brutal power to just dismember people, blood squishes with so much force that it like splashes all over the people, and eventually I kind of started enjoying it. Like, I'm not usually into gore, even in like video games. I'm like, oh, this is unnecessary. I don't need to see your entrails, thank you.
Yeah, it was like at first some of it did seem excessive, but eventually it became almost an art form. Like I was saying before, a ballet, which is
Very much so.
kind of what
Grand.
300 was for me. It was like the modern
Thank you.
man's ballet sort of thing, if you excuse the stereotype. But
Yeah, and let's be honest, the choreography was done great, and it was such an important part of the show. And I think eventually they nailed it. Like, the fights felt brutal, and as you said, like, this show definitely shows you how brutal, unfair, and cruel the ancient world was, and that even though there are heroes and there are absolute asshats, like, it's kind of hard to be ethically 100% good. You kind of have to do a lot of shady, bad things, and the show will confront this idea and show us some of these very brutal moments.
it
So,
very much shows too how history is written by the victors.
yes, indeed, indeed. And one thing that I recommend, like, we have discussed a lot of spoilers so far, but if you haven't seen the show and if you are considering giving it a show, then just quit this freaking stream and go watch it. Find it. It might be a bit harder to find. It's not like on Netflix. It has like a special streaming service that you can watch it, but it's definitely out there. I highly recommend watching all 3 episodes. All 3 seasons. And because we will be delving deep into some of these major plot lines. And the one thing that I have to warn you about, if you're sensitive to these things, don't really don't get attached to your favorite characters, because there is a very high probability they will all die. That would be my main warning.
And for for our first advertisement, since we're on Twitch and I see it's only fair, I'm pretty sure you can still stream it on through Amazon Prime Video, on the Stars subscription.
Ah, very nice. Indeed, indeed. It is not exactly show from a studio that I would be familiar with, but like that makes it even more impressive, right? It's not like a Hollywood high budget show. It almost seems like a
Yeah,
passion project that they got a lot of amazing actors for.
and yeah, I think that's kind of what endeared me to it as well, was just the fact that it was low budget, but the writing, the acting, and the passion to it was very much there and apparent, especially as I briefly mentioned to you in messages earlier with the prequel season that they wrote
Oh, we will
for
get into that. We will get into
for
that. I'm so
reasons. Yeah,
sorry.
I wasn't gonna say anything more than just for the reasons for the prequel season, but you could feel that, like, for the writers, the directors, everyone, that it was very much a passion project. They were very much into this series. It wasn't just a let's cut a quick paycheck here. This was something they wanted to be involved with.
Yes, and you can see it from the actors. Like they freaking give it their all. It's amazing some of the performances in it, and what really elevates this performance are the dialogues. Like that is why I mentioned this explicitly, because my goodness, what surprised me the most about this show is how clever, how freaking time appropriate, and how hilarious some of the dialogues are.
Oh yeah.
We will eventually go like through some of my favorite ones, and you will probably recall a bunch of your favorite ones, but there's probably something we can leave at the end of the show. For now, let's go and discuss the characters, because there are many amazing characters I want to hear your opinions on.
Well, I'm sure I'll have several opinions on probably every character. For those of you who don't know, I have seen the series 7 or 8 times now.
Wow, that's impressive. But I'm honestly not even going to judge you for it, because this is one of those shows that I also immediately wanted to watch again after I finished it. And that's rare for me, especially these days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, this is definitely my most watched series, and that even includes anime.
Wow.
Some anime I've watched almost as much as this, like Full Metal Alchemist maybe, but no, Spartacus is my top watched show. I think second would be probably The Walking Dead with
Hello,
four or
Soda.
five watches.
Oh wow, I've never seen Walking Dead. I'm not much into zombies, but I heard it's very good.
Yep, there's definitely something everyone can find in that series. But that would be an entirely different podcast. That could be like, oof.
All right, you can have that podcast with Reem. I'm not interested into zombies, so. But let's talk Spartacus, the main protagonist from season one. What do you think about his performance or overall character in the show?
So for his part of the series, he was absolutely amazing. You could see the character development in him from the first episode straight through the whole thing, the different phases that he went through, and the way that he would express it on his face carried from episode to episode. Like, it was as if they filmed the whole thing in real time, because
Will be fun.
it's just his style of how he acted the character out and where the character's mindset should have been at that time was amazingly consistent throughout the entire first season.
Mhm. You could say that he had amazing RP integrity because he reacted to the world around him and to the events how he was supposed to.
Exactly. And it was like, I mean, you could say the writers made the dialogue, so it was them who carried that part through, which, yeah, that's fine. Maybe the director and the writers did that part, but down to his body language and his facial expressions, they carried so much weight to them as to what he was going through at the time. And that, for the scope of the first season, where he gets captured, becomes a gladiator, decides that it's his fate to be the greatest gladiator of all time, and then eventually his anger and hostility when he reverses that, to avoid a spoiler in case we're talking about it later. um, he portrays it all amazingly.
He truly does. Like, at first I thought he's kind of like a Mary Sue, you know, he's that vanilla looking character, like white meat babyface guy, who we are supposed to kind of relate to, who it's like, oh, I want to be that guy. I can totally see myself in his shoes. You know, he's not like that big as Crixus. He's not as strong at first, but gosh darn it, he never gives up, and he's honorable. You know, he does things for love.
Yeah, and he gives you the underdog vibe in the beginning, where I'm gonna get through this with perseverance and determination.
The moment when I actually was able to fully relate to him happened through his friendship with Varro. Uh, the one thing that I enjoyed about Spartacus in season 1 the most was how much of a shitlord he was when he was fighting against the authority, when he was like all edgy, and when he always got freaking Varro, his best friend, his only friend, into trouble when they literally dumped them both into like a sewage, and he was like, oh, maybe I should have chosen my words more carefully. It's like Varro just staring him down like, you asshole, I am here to freaking finance my wife, who's not even going to be grateful, who will then get knocked up, and I will be very sad about it, and I will express my sadness through fucking some random chick. Oh, we'll get to this. Sorry, I loved the cheek that Spartacus had, like that little shitlordish side of him, where he was just he was a troll at
Yeah,
times.
when he was first taken, he was basically a 6-year-old trying to get away with whatever he could and like poke his dad in the eye and run away, sort of thing, consistently.
Yeah.
Like he was not a grown up. He was a child lashing out at his parents, especially his new step parents, Daddy Badiatus.
Daddy Badiatus. Oh, we will get into him. We will get to him. Sorry, the show totally ruined me.
That's gonna end up in out of context.
Damn it. We'll get into Badiatus soon. But yes. Of course, before we get to that, what I wanted to chat about, what do you think about his wife, Surah, I believe was her name?
Who?
Right, understand. I found the scene where she was just brought and where she was basically dying in his arms. That was very sad. I could feel his pain in that moment, and it was the scene was perfect. Like, it was supposed to happen. I'm kind of glad that it happened this early and it wasn't like a prolonged moment throughout the season. I'm glad that it helped him unleash, his oh, I'm gonna be a gladiator now. Fuck it, I'm Spartacus. I'm not gonna be using my name. I have nothing else to fight for.
That was exactly it. She was
a device to get him from A to B.
she was a prop. Yeah, exactly. She was very pivotal to the story. She was very much a requirement, and she did great for that purpose.
And she had good hips.
Yeah, she's a very attractive woman. That is the way Spartacus works. everybody except for the most disgusting people are very attractive.
Yeah, healers. That healer in the House of Batiatus was not an attractive man.
Exactly. And he was a disgusting piece of shit personal wise as well. So but
yes.
she was, I mean, she didn't get her opportunity to do very much acting, so she was very much a prop to the story. But
She was an
like you were
effective
saying,
prop.
exactly, and after her death, that one scene, like, this was probably one of the first epic scenes, was when he was like, well, maybe I should trust in the gods like my wife said I should. And he tells Badiatus that, hey, like, send me into the arena. If I die, I die, whatever. And so he just walks forward and stands there and does nothing. And Badiatus is like, you waste of space. And the one guy throws a spear, and he's still got his eyes closed, and the spear just like does that one little cut on Spartacus's cheek, and then he's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and just wholesale slaughters like 4 people.
Yeah, that's
and then
basically
becomes Spartacus.
Yes, that's when his powers are unleashed. That's when he levels up. That's when his build is finished. And yeah, he is from that point on a freaking machine, unstoppable.
Yeah, that's where he goes from like normal Saiyan to Super Saiyan.
Oh wow, thank you for that reference. That's from
Because
Walking Dead, right?
yeah, exactly. That's very much the part where he stops fighting
Amazon Prime
his
P Fund.
destiny, as he
Or
says,
pirating, of course.
and embraces it and becomes, he's not trying to escape anymore. He's not trying to fight the patriarchy or anything like that. He's like, okay, you know what? Fine. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna be famous and rich as a gladiator.
Indeed, indeed. But we cannot really continue discussing this show without mentioning the probably one of my favorite characters from season 1 and season 2. Batiatus was absolutely incredible. Like, his dialogues were just so spot on, so perfect. His quotes, like every single thing he ever said was just so quotable to me. I had to write it down, and I adore the actor. Of course, I immediately noticed him that he was playing in The Mummy, Jonathan. Such an
I
amazing actor.
did not
You
notice
didn't?
that.
Really?
And this is right here is the perfect way to show that he is actually just a phenomenal actor.
He truly is.
Like, because there could not be a bigger field between those two types of characters right there.
Oh, yeah. And like, the age on him, it kind of contributed, to his assholiness. I love him so much. Like, I love that he is obviously in a position of power, but in a very limited one, and he's very ambitious, and he lets everyone know like how much he hates certain things, and he's so devious. Like, he is. I feel like it's even perhaps a bit too much. Like how many risks he takes as the season goes. It's honestly even not even like that believable that he would get away with all of that.
Yeah, and I mean at the same time it was, because I mean that was the Roman way, right? It's just
It was.
corruption and twisted and politics and back alley dealings. And I mean, he definitely got punished several times. He was the epitome of fake it till you make it. And
Hmm. And
like, he just kept trying and trying and trying.
and season 2 will kind of explain how he came to be, what is the reason for him acting this way, which I like very much about the season 2, and we will discuss it at great length. But for now, I think we can safely assume that he was perfect in his role. Like, his for him being the leader of the Ludus House Batiates was just incredible in every aspect.
And he is the one who introduces us to the colorful curse words that the Romans would use.
Oh yeah, Jupiter's cock. Fuck me in
And
the
yeah,
ass. Spread my cheeks and ram your cock right in it.
you
It's like
expect me
so
to
many times.
present ass at every turn.
Yeah. Oh my god, most of my quotes that I wrote down are from this man, from this glorious, glorious man. And like his competition, constant competition with Solonius, is just awesome too. And yet again, another great thing that season 2 explains and expands on. But yeah, thank you, Jonathan, for playing this role, because my goodness, I loved you in Mummy, and I loved you in the show Spartacus even more.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Mr. Ninja, I need you to see my stream, because I have a comparison to make, and I need to
Oh,
hear your
I'm
opinion.
watching. I'm watching.
Good. What do you see? There are two pictures of Elithia, and I want you to basically tell me if you can see any difference of them.
No, this is pretty spot on. I can see that she shaved for one of them and not the other, but
Oh yeah.
the facial expression, the demeanor is very apparent.
Let's not beat around the bushes. Elithia is Sir Ector de Marie, and she is such an asshole, and she does it so well, and she is, I would say, so important for this show too, because like you can sense from the very first scene that her and Spartacus they just hate each other. They want to kill each other, and some of the scenes that they get into, they literally get into each other, are just hilarious. They get
So
into it.
from very much the first time that Alithia appears on screen, as soon as I heard her accent, that snobbish nose up accent,
Yeah.
I hated her. I hated her so much.
And she's meant to be hated. She is the
Exactly.
worst that Rome is supposed to represent. You know, she is the inbred asshole who uses these slaves as things. I would even say she uses them. She sees them as more of tools than the leaders of the gladiator school. Like when Batiatus, what I love about him the most is like when he goes from like being chill, friendly uncle into like a full-on rage mode. It's like, you fucking shit, I'm gonna stab you in the belly button just because you're looking at me wrong. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like he is definitely bipolar, but like this one, she is through and through evil and manipulative, and just every time she like leans over and kisses Xena, I'm like, ooh. It's like I'm kind of aroused, but also ooh.
Well, and to elaborate on it even further, she didn't just see the gladiators as tools, she saw everyone as tools. She was the highest person in the world in her mind. The only person who superseded her was her father.
Yes. One of my favorite things about her was how demeaning she was to Batiatus's wife, of course, Xena. Like, she was constantly shitting all over her. She was like, she started the sentence with like a nice compliment, and then she just said like a single word that turned it 180, 360, just upside down, and made everyone feel like they're worthless.
Exactly.
She was a
And
master of that.
one of the biggest things of it is Batiatus was a schemer in a different way. He was scheming to elevate his position, to get rich, to set up uh, a legacy for his future generations. She was very much a schemer and a manipulator, just purely for her own entertainment. There was no purpose to it. She wasn't trying to get anything. She wasn't trying to achieve anything. She was just doing it because she was bored. Um, she was very much a representation of the Roman gods. Really, is she would just harass people and set up these diabolical plots just purely for entertainment for herself.
Hmm. And I love how this was her breakthrough role. It's like incredible to me that she's not like a well-known actress, because I could see her in so many other roles. She played it perfectly.
It's to me, it's what I'm gonna call the Joffrey syndrome. The actor who
Right.
played Joffrey in Game of Thrones was amazing. He was supposed to be hated, and he was probably the most hateable character ever portrayed on television. And the what he got, as far as to say the opposite of what it actually was, his fan mail and stuff like that, he actually decided to quit acting because he was so abused and harassed because people hated him as a person for the character he portrayed.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, she was so good at playing a hateable character. I imagine she might be going through the same thing as the actor who portrayed Joffrey.
It is indeed possible. Like, I mean, to a much smaller degree, we go through this as streamers, especially RP streamers. We get very much judged for our decisions, for our characters. A lot of people are not even able to make the distinction. They just see me, oh, it's Durga. Oh, it's, Theodoros. That's not John Aaron. That's Tommy, the one that stabbed me, not my character. He stabbed me in the marketplace with that OP sword. He is the asshole. Yeah, that's it's a shame that some people are unfortunately unable to separate between fiction and reality. But some of these actors are perhaps even too good for their own benefit at the roles that they're playing. I'm not saying that I am as an RPer. What I do is trash compared to what this beautiful Sir Hector de Marie person does. But yeah, what do you
Yeah.
think is the most evil thing she's ever done?
Oh, I feel like there's something that's on the tip of my brain that just really stands out for. Oh, Varro. Like flat out, it is the Varro thing.
Yes, when she basically banged that young boy just
Yeah,
to
the boy who just became a man,
yeah.
which let's not forget in Roman times that means he turned 13 or 14.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, tough times. I'm glad they at least faded to black, but we all know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Just to inflict suffering on Spartacus.
indeed, like we will get to Varro, but what a
Well,
tragic episode.
and let's not forget that Spartacus never did anything to this woman.
It
The
is true. He
only
just
thing he
existed.
did was kind of insult her husband, right? By making him a failure. But
Mhm.
she was also the one who constantly called him a failure. She was always looking down on her husband and shitting on him. So, like, it was if I was to look at it as a person who was assessing it and the psychology value of it, she wasn't even actually pissed off at Spartacus. She just found another target for her torment.
Yes, very much so.
And she
And
wanted him to be shit on, and the more he succeeded, the more she was driven to just torment him.
indeed, indeed. One of my regrets about the show, one of the missed opportunities, in my opinion, is that they never showed her dying. I would very much enjoy a scene where like Spartacus confronts her and finally kills her, even if it's just like a flashback, like a minor scene, even if it's someone that looks like her, that just plays her voice. If they couldn't get the same actress, I think that is the one thing that the show kind of missed out on.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking on it.
I think they
Oh,
mentioned
right,
like in
right.
season
Because,
3 a few times that she was eventually murdered.
yeah, well, because it was, she was killed by Xena,
I
right?
don't
Like,
think. No, no, no. I don't
she
think
didn't
she was.
survive that.
I think that she escaped the school at the end of season 1 when all the things
Oh,
started
yeah.
happening.
This was season 3 or season 2, timeline wise, when she was pregnant, right? And the baby was about to be born early. So Xena was like, "Oh, it has to be born in the house. That's what it wants." And then Xena cuts it out of her after killing her slaves, and then goes off the cliff. And she's seen in the sand of the school bleeding, right? So
Wait,
I don't believe it shows her dying, but
no, no,
she's
no.
bleeding out in the middle of the ludus.
Xena dies for sure, but this one never actually is killed in the show.
Did you? Oh, you missed something.
No, no, I definitely didn't. I swear this one isn't showed in the show that she's killed. This one is seen that she's leaving the school once she locks the door with the guards, and then she just leaves. And in season 3, they eventually mentioned that she was killed along with her husband, like outside of the show. I think you might be. Maybe I am wrong. Like, I cannot say with 100% certainty. I only saw the show once, but I honestly believe that this one wasn't ever showed as being
Okay,
killed.
so
Look it up.
season 1, it shows the massacre at the school, right? And she does
Mhm.
escape that. Um, and then we have the prequel season, and then in the season after that, um, Gaius and her come back to Capua and take over the villa, which is mostly gutted, and that's where Xena reappears because Xena was thought to be dead, right? But
Oh,
apparently, Asher stitched her up from her wound, right? And she pretends to have amnesia and forgot everything. And now she's suddenly a prophet, a voice of the gods, because she's the only person who survived the Spartacus massacre.
Wait, what? I haven't never seen anything
I
of
feel like you
this.
missed a whole
I
season.
think I may have. What is
So,
this like? Where was this freaking? Oh my god!
did you watch the fight between um, Gaius and Spartacus's army on Mount Vesuvius?
Well, let me look it up.
Did you see the part where they were hiding in a temple on Mount Vesuvius?
Okay, so I did watch the Gods of the Arena. I'm pretty sure. Then I watched The Vengeance. That was the prequel, season 2. And then I watched the War of the Damned. That was the last one, season 3.
You missed Blood and Sand. You missed a whole season.
I think I may have.
Yep.
Wait, let me see. Oh, wait. Yeah, Blood and Sand. I did watch that one. That was the first one. Sorry. Okay, so first one is Blood and Sand. But yeah, you are right. I did, I guess, miss one of the seasons. Yeah, I think I missed The
Oh,
Vengeance.
yeah. Vengeance. Okay. Yeah. So, wow.
Oh my goodness, I have more Spartacus to watch. That's great.
Yeah. So, no, you very much get to see her die.
Okay. Well, in that case, I do take that back. But at least now you know like where I was coming from.
Oh, you have a whole exciting season to see. You've missed so much Gannicus.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess now I just need to watch it like from the first season, from the first episode.
You missed Doctore.
No! No! I'm sorry, Doctor.
So much Doctore. It tells his whole story.
Oh my god.
That's the season that tells how Doctore ended up
Okay,
in the Ludus.
enough. I will watch it. Not right now, but we will get through this damn podcast. We still have 2 more seasons to go, and I have 1 more to watch afterwards. Okay, well,
Yeah, so I won't tell you any more about her. Wow.
thank you. All right, let's talk about Buff Heath Ledger, as I kept calling him through the entire series, because like the moment I saw him, I just saw Heath Ledger on steroids.
Yep.
What did you think about this character? Did you find him annoying? Did you find him like overly friendly? Was he a bit out of place? Or did you see his loyalty, his friendship to Spartacus as something endearing about the show, where there is nothing but darkness, blood, and death?
It was a little bit of everything. He was kind of a prop the same way that Spartacus's wife was, in my opinion.
We knew he
Like,
was going to die.
yeah, like I can't say his acting was amazing or brilliant or anything, but it was good and it served a purpose very much, because just like you were saying before, the Spartacus was always getting him in trouble, but he was still there. And psychology wise, it was necessary for both of them. I think Spartacus would have very much died without Varro being there. And Varro, well, he fucked up his life really badly, and he got there at the same time as Spartacus, so he buddied up with Spartacus, right? He found this guy who was skilled, had some attitude to him, might have had some worth, and wasn't shitting on him like the real gladiators were.
Oh yeah, he was the best wingman there ever was for Spartacus, and he played his role real well. I did find him as a very endearing character that I cheered for to survive for as long as possible, and I'm glad that they didn't just kill him outright to prove a point, you know, that you're not supposed to make friends. All of these are your enemies. They can fight by your side, but the next day they can just stab you in the back. And your life is not yours. Your life is forfeit. It is relinquished to these nobles, to these aristocrats, and you cannot really make any attachments because they can end as quickly as they started. And that is why I did kind of appreciate the character of one of the other gladiators that we will get into.
And it was very much an interesting contrast as well, because he wasn't a slave. Like,
It is true.
he was and he wasn't. He had a sizable debt from gambling.
He was
And
basically Ricardo Jordan.
yeah, exactly. But he was basically purchased by Badiatus. It was Batiatus paid off his debts, and now Varro was indentured to him, and he was treated like a slave, like a possession, because he was
Mhm.
bought.
Mhm. What I liked about this show is that the Gladiator School was actually portrayed as a solid business, that paid kind of fair amount of money to these gladiators, even if they were literal like captives from war, even if they were like, these gamblers. He always delivered on his promise. Yes, he may have killed like Spartacus's wife, just to kind of attach him to the school, but hey, he still gave him his salary.
And still delivered the wife.
That is true. He was basically you, lawyer speak.
Loopholes.
Loopholes. Should have specified that you wanted her alive, sucker.
Exactly. Contract is met.
Indeed.
And it was one thing that I did find out, because I had to look into things. I always had questions. Gladiators in Roman times didn't actually die very often. They were only killed when the editor gave the signal, which wasn't a thumbs down. That's a misconception. Um, yes, and the editor would only give a thumbs down if the fight was a poor showing. If it didn't entertain the crowd, then the gladiator's life was now worth nothing. But for the most part, gladiators were very well taken care of, because there was a lot of money invested in making a skilled and entertaining gladiator, and they brought in a lot of money. So some of the more famous luduses and the richer um, owners, I can't remember what he was called now.
Lannistas.
Yeah, so some of the more famous and rich Lanistas, they took care of their gladiators in a way that was far better than an average Roman citizen. Like, they lived lives of luxury, and many of them would get to the point where they would earn their freedom, and they didn't want to. They wouldn't go free because they enjoyed their life of fame and riches and just being taken care of. Like, they
They were
were
celebrity athletes at the peak of their power. And
exactly. And I mean, their lifestyle was basically that of a dog. They were just doted on and fed and taken care of at every whim.
yeah, no wonder, these days, they call MMA fighters, the best at their game, basically modern day gladiators.
Hmm.
Some of these people come from like very humble backgrounds, where they could like barely afford food, and they had like criminal backgrounds, and fighting is basically for them, I would say, the only chance to express like, all that sorrow, all that rage, and turn it into something constructive. So it is interesting, like kind of comparing, these two perspectives, the ancient times and the modern day, like MMA fighters, boxers.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about Doctore, Animeus, or also known as This is Madness from the movie 300. Immediately when I saw him, I knew that it's the guy, and I was just so freaking happy to see him be in a completely different position. Like in 300, he just gets freaking murdered because he's an asshole Persian, but like here, he is such an amazing character. Like, I love this character so much. What do you think?
And he
Listen.
is, I feel like it was a tool that the writers were using as well, but he was such a stark contrast compared to everyone else. He was so different in his beliefs, his convictions, and just what he thought about the house and what honor meant and all of those things.
Yes, the only honorable character in the show. Truly honorable.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, right down to the end that you missed.
No! No!
Yeah, he's
God damn it.
yeah, it shows his, you want to talk about humble beginnings. Wow.
I cannot wait. Like, I will freaking watch it right after this show.
Yeah, 100%. Season 3 is it's technically season 2, the one that you missed, because the second season was the prequel season, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is the season of Animeus for sure.
You know why I think I skipped on it? Is because I was pirating the show. I just, everything was like season 1 episode, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and like
Yep.
I wasn't familiar with like the structure of the show. It was just like, oh, this looks like a season 1. Oh, this looks like a season 2. This looks like season 3. I thought there were
That
only
was
3 seasons.
even on Prime.
Hello, creature.
It
I
doesn't say
missed the
season
full
1,
fucking
season 2,
season.
season 3, season 4. It names the seasons.
Ugh.
The best way to go about it
Should have
is on
just
the
asked
Pirate
you.
Bay, where you get the entire collection in one file.
No, I
It's the
will, of
only way to do
course,
it.
pay for the subscription service, and I will honorably watch it and pay for it because this show deserves it.
Yeah, if I remember right, I actually owned this one on Blu-ray because it was one of the ones where I was like, no, I've watched it so many times. Somebody deserves money for this.
Somebody even is like a gas station, that like sells them in a bargain bin. I'm gonna give them my
$4.99.
goddamn money.
I mean, I watched it. So of course, I obviously first off pirated it because I was just going off of like Reddit recommendations for shows that were like Game of Thrones. And then, of course, when Netflix came about and became big enough that I had Netflix, they had it on Netflix in Canada at one point in time. So I watched it on there, and then I've watched it on Prime twice. So, and I own the series somewhere in this house.
Oh my God.
So they've made their money off of me.
You double, triple, and quadruple dipped into their
Absolutely. And I would still, if I ran into one of the actors, be like, hey, here's $20, man. Good job.
Would literally throw money at them just to show your appreciation. Tell me about Animeus from the very first season. How did he come across when you first saw him? Were you cheering for him? Were you hoping that he would meet his untimely end by the hand of Spartacus? Or were you hoping for a happy ending scenario where the two of them will just run around in the field, like being happy, just whipping, like 3 branches together and just living their best life afterwards as best friends?
Well,
I know that's a very specific example, but that's definitely what I was hoping for.
And you still have so many surprises yet to come.
Oh my God. You're killing me.
I was very much cheering for him the whole time because he was such a contrasted character, and the way he acted it out was you could see some of the softness in him, but he was still
when he was whipping stuff. Like, he was whipping stuff for no reason. He was whipping air for the 99% of the show, and it still looked amazing.
Yeah, like he was the dad for sure.
Yes, he was the dad. Exactly.
He wasn't Daddy Batty-Honest. He was a father figure because he gave words of encouragement where they were needed, but most of the time he was that harsh. You need to do your job first, and it has to get done.
Tough love.
Then I'll give you some nice words later, son. Now get in there, Spartacus.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the show X-Files?
A little bit from way back when.
Oh, I love that show. He was basically Skinner, like the the tough dad, that isn't always on your side, but he always means well.
Okay.
And he will beat the shit out of you if he has to. But he will still give you like a kiss on the cheek.
Very much picturing Animeus giving Gannicus a kiss on the cheek now.
Oh my God.
Good job, champion.
But that is why this character was so great, because he was respected by both the good guys and also the assholes of this show, the bad boys. They all respected him, and he was basically on all of their sides, despite their differences, despite their struggles and fights and beefs. He always meant well.
He was the thinker. He was the one who could put himself into everybody's shoes all the time, and he could see what they were going through.
I love X-Files.
As shown in the prequel season, no, it wasn't shown in the prequel season. It was shown in the 3rd season of the
God damn it!
There's so much that I just can't talk about.
Oh, we're gonna have to do a part 2. I'll tell you.
Absolutely, just because of this guy. I mean, his character becomes a lot more deep without me going into too much, and you can see why and how he puts himself into so many people's shoes, just because of the way he interacts with Batty-Honest's father.
Great creature.
which I guess would technically be Daddy Batiotis because that's Batiotis Senior. I can't remember his first name if he had one.
Yeah, it's we'll get to season 2, but yeah, you're right. This was definitely the dad of the show. Batyatis was like a creepy uncle, and Xena was like a hot redhead step aunt.
Yeah,
But we will also get into her. Goodbye,
like
Doctor.
so many others.
I will watch that season very soon. Let's talk about Xena, the warrior princess.
Yes, Lucretia. So, okay, the first thing I would have to say is it took me so long to realize it was Cena.
No,
Yeah,
how's that possible? Have you never seen like the show back in the day?
I used to watch it all the time. That and Hercules was my jam. I could
Yeah,
watch
me
those
too.
for days.
Oh,
But
such a good
I
show.
mean, I guess it was probably about 15 years apart for me.
I cannot just fathom not making this connection immediately. Like, she is such a Xena. And maybe I only was able to formulate that connection because I like heard about the show. I was aware
Okay.
that the actress, was playing in this from Xena, but like she just played it so well, and she aged so remarkably gracefully.
And I think that was a big part of the contrast for me, right? I only watched Xena for Gabrielle. Gabrielle was hot, right? Xena was very manly.
Wow,
And
she
like
was, she
it
was
was
buff.
really like the voice was there, the skinniness, the muscleness, like all of it. But then when she comes back as Lucretia, like she's super hot. Like her voice changed, her figure changed, her acting style changed. Like
Mhm.
she was a way better actor in Spartacus than she was in Xena.
Hold
Like
on. The only hot character that I remember from Xena was actually Xena's nemesis, the blonde lady that like stabbed herself. I think she was like an immortal or something. That one I remember was hot when I was very
don't
young.
think like I was a young teenager at the time. I don't think I really paid attention to the storyline or the plot.
But let's be honest, like back in the day, the first lady that truly sparked my interest was Sydney Fox from the movie, from the show Relic Hunters.
I don't think I watched Relic Hunters.
Who was your first crush when it comes to these TV shows?
Oh geez.
And please don't tell me it was like someone from the anime. Oh, it was Misty from Pokemon. I really enjoy your water Pokemon.
I was like, I don't know who was a hot redhead back then. And then as soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, Misty, obviously, duh. um,
Well, Jessie. I would definitely accept that because Jessie was
oh
hot.
yeah, yeah. There's Jesse as well. Sidetracking me now. I'm trying to think of what shows I watched back then.
Power Rangers, maybe? Pink Power Ranger?
No, I never liked her. She irritated the shit out of me. Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Oh, I don't know
Tiffany
that one.
Amber Thiessen.
Interesting.
So yeah, it would be like definitely a B show for like North America. I don't think it would have left the country.
Right.
It was, yeah, because like there was we had a lot of B shows that were like your after school specials and stuff like that.
So yeah,
Saved by the Bell was definitely one of those.
that's
And then there's
Lucretia.
Baywatch.
Oh, Baywatch. I never
Okay, so Lucretia.
I never actually found Baywatch to be all that interesting. All I
No.
remember is David Hasselhoff's hairy chest, and like I don't even remember like the boobs that everyone's like, oh yeah, Baywatch back in the day, there were boobs everywhere. It's like I never even paid attention. All I saw was that bush in the middle of Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff's chest push.
It's like it's like the scene from 300. Guess we will fight in the dark. Hasselhoff's bush.
Oh, suppose we'll fight in the shade.
Yeah. So yeah, Lucretia, a good character. I did enjoy her. I would say more in season 2 because that's when you first kind of. Well, we will get into it, but she was very effective. She was also more of a prop, but she was definitely an amazing sidekick to Batiatus, and he wouldn't be the same without her.
Yeah, and like she got a lot more acting opportunity than like a lot of the other women in the series because like going over Spartacus's wife, she never had acting opportunities. She was very short lived as far as scenes went, and the few parts that she had, she was kind of cocky acting and stuff like that, but not enough to build any character. Lucretia actually, I can't even say she really builds character, but she shows so much um, between what her and Batiatus's father went through, her lowborn persona, or the incidents with her friend Gaia. Um,
Oh yeah, season 2. We'll get into it.
yeah, so like she went through a lot, and she acted very well for each of those things. So like I would give her a higher level than a prop because she was very much a driving force for several things. Like I mean, half of the time she was the snake making Batiatus do the shitty things that he did because she would just go off on a temper tantrum, much like Alithia would with her husband. And suddenly Batiatus is doing something really stupid that he would normally be smarter. Like he wouldn't do that, but now he's having a temper tantrum because she's having a temper tantrum, and now he's got to deal with it in some way or another.
Yes, I would agree with this if we were talking about both season 1 and season 2, the prequel,
Oh,
because
okay.
that one definitely fleshed out her character for me much more, and I could relate to her much more, and I understood why she was the way she was, and I enjoyed her, of course, in both seasons, but the second one definitely elevated her in my eyes, and yeah, I also agree that she is definitely not a prop. Like she was a very well written female character, and she was very effective at what she did, and yeah, very well acted.
Absolutely.
Which is funny to say because you don't really remember like watching Xena the Warrior Princess for her acting. She was kind of edgy,
Exactly.
just throwing her little boomerang around, you know. But yeah, what a just intriguing choice for an actress. Like someone from Xena, it's like incredible. One of the many charming things about this show, like the casting choices.
Oh, absolutely. That I continued to see certain actors in different things. Like, surprisingly enough, the series Arrow. Have you ever seen or heard of it?
It's the Marvel one, right?
DC.
Oh, DC. So, oh, now you know my opinion on superhero shows. It's like
But
the-
in Arrow, a lot of the Spartacus actors show up in it. Like Crixus is actually one of the main characters in it.
oh,
Asher shows up for a few episodes. So a lot of these actors went on to do more stuff, and yeah, a lot of these actors went off to
amazing.
do more things, and actually had even better roles for some of them. Yeah, Slade Wilson, Deathstroke in the TV series Arrow,
Mm-hmm.
and he was an even better actor in Arrow than he was in Spartacus. So, in my opinion, he's grown.
I definitely agree. Crixus, I loved his character. Like I hated him, but he was basically the perfect representation of what you would imagine a gladiator would be, like a brainwashed Hulk that really only wants one thing, which is the glory. And if you combine season 1 and 2, it definitely made his character like make so much sense. You know why he was the way he was, and but my most favorite thing about him is that you wouldn't really give this character many dimensions. You know, he is just a freaking brute. He's a jock. You know, he's an asshole. He doesn't care. He would stab you just to get to the next round and claim his title. But like his little love affair with that very attractive slave lady, I actually loved it. Like in the end, he was a very deep affectionate character to me that he actually found something that he wanted more than the winnings. What do
Yep,
you think
you're
about that?
you're definitely gonna have to watch that season.
Oh
So,
no.
Navia was the woman, by the way, and
Indeed.
both of them have a large part in that third season.
Oh my goodness! I thought she would never come back. I was actually so sad. Never seeing her. Damn
And
it.
but to go into the previous part of it, the way I always looked at Crixus, especially once I was done the series and rewatched it again, Crixus is definitively a mix between Animaeus and Spartacus. If you took those two characters and mixed them, that's how you would get Crixus.
Oh, interesting.
Because he was like you see it in season 1 where Animaeus is very much like, no, Crixus is the champion. He's the person who should be champion. He's a proper champion. Is because Crixus is very much tied into honor on the same level as Animaeus is, but he's out for himself and glory in the same way that Spartacus is. And it's portrayed very much in several different instances.
I very much agree with that. One of my most favorite cringeworthy moments of the season was his love affair with Xena. Like whenever she just
Yep.
called for him, and he was just like, "You are my mistress." Just his poetic speech when he was like paying her compliments, when you knew he was just like thinking of anything but her. He was like, "Oh, I hate this. This is the worst. I'm just gonna do this real quick, and I'm just gonna go salivate over that sexy slave lady."
Oh, it is my 9 to 5 time to do my shift.
Yeah.
Get back to Gladiator, and after this.
Yeah, it's like such a waste of time. Just want to go slit throat.
But going into the honor side of it and talking about cringeworthy moments, remember Segavax?
I remember that name, but I cannot really recall the face.
Segavax was the gladiator that Alithia purchased.
Oh yes,
of
the goal,
Gladiatus.
the goal
Yeah.
with dreads.
With the giant cock.
Am I wrong? But were some of the cocks like completely fake and like plastic?
The majority of the cocks were either very terrible CGI or silicone.
Oh my god! I thought they looked like very deformed and strange.
But so you might remember the scene where Segavax tries to kill Spartacus at the behest of Alithia.
Yes, I do remember. But wait,
Right.
tell me one thing. How do you know? Did you like Google if the cocks were real or not?
I should feel like it was pretty obvious.
Did you like ask ChatGPT?
Do you not watch porn ever? Like, have you not seen more than 3 penises in your life?
Yes, but still, like it's a funny thing to Google. Are the dicks in the show Spartacus like fake or real?
It is. I think maybe now that you've recommended, I should get ChatGPT to research this. Make, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to find all the scenes with fake penises and point them out to me.
You know
which
what?
penises were fake and which penises were real.
Let's do it live.
Let's use ChatGPT for evil. But on the topic of honor, while you're doing that, Crixus was the one who came to save Spartacus during that scene. Segavax very much had his number. And when questioned about it, Crixus's response was, if you're going to die as a brother, you're going to die on the sand properly.
In the TV show Spartacus, which aired blah blah blah, and its various seasons. Yes, thank you for reminding me that I missed on one of those, ChatGPT. Scenes depicting nudity, including male genitalia, were present. To create a more realistic and immersive setting, the show used prosthetics and special effects for explicit scenes involving genitalia. These prosthetics and effects are commonly referred to as fake. Thank you, ChatGPT, for explaining me the definition of the word fake, as they are not real body parts. Thank you, ChatGPT. In such cases, actors typically wear modesty garments during filming to protect their privacy and adhere to professional guidelines. The use of prosthetics and visual effects allows the show to maintain an adult rating and accurately portray the historical and visceral nature of the events depicted, while still observing the necessary industry standards and regulations.
So they were all fake penises, because if they were real, they would have lost their rating.
That is crazy. They we're not gonna censor things. We're not gonna fade to black. We still are going to show penises because we need the rating, but we're gonna make them
But
fake
they have
because
to be fake
we're
penises.
professional. Stunt cocks. Thank you, Sin. Oh my goodness.
Wait, stunt cock is where somebody else comes in to do the sex part.
Oh.
I saw that in I think it was a '90s movie called Orgasmo. It was made by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. It was basically a Mormon gentleman ends up in the porn industry through happenstance.
The term stunt cock is a colloquial and sometimes humorous phrase used in the film and entertainment industry to refer to a male performer who substitutes for another actor in scenes involving nudity or explicit sexual content. In other words, a stunt cock is a professional actor or performer who is hired specifically to portray the genitalia of another actor during intimate or explicit scenes. Wonderful. We're learning so many things today. Well, that is basically Crixus. Very good character that I very much enjoyed. I enjoyed his the fact that he never smiled until season 3, and I just like with Animeus, I wanted him and Spartacus to hold hands and to just be happy together and do buddy things, not bang, but just be friends. I really liked the idea that the show had of alluding to the fact that they might eventually become friends one day, and it hurt
Let's not forget that one line that Crixus had. In another life, you and I could have been as brothers.
Yes, that was a great line. I enjoyed it so much. Made me cry. Literally, I cry during a lot of these moments in these shows, but this show made me cry a lot. Oh, that's a story for our season 3 discussion because, oh boy, many tears were shed.
And you've still missed one of the biggest build seasons.
Stop!
I can't.
You know what? I think we're just gonna end it, and we're gonna have 2 or 3
switch to
more
a watch party.
No, we'll probably just end after the season 1 block, and then we will focus on the other seasons, or we will do a separate podcast about the rest of the show.
Well,
we'd
have to do the prequel season. We can't miss that season.
We'll do the prequel, and then our next meeting will be about the season I missed and season 3, because I have a lot of thoughts about season 3.
Yep. You'll probably have a lot more after.
God damn it. All right.
Okay, I'll keep specifically to season 1 and prequel season from now on.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. It must be very painful to you right now. But I appreciate your courtesy.
Yeah, I have to sort my thoughts between what was prequel season and what was season 2/3.
So anything up until the carnage at the House Batiatus, that basically covers season 1 and 2.
There's season 3 has flashbacks, and sometimes I'm having difficulties differentiating between the prequel season and the flashbacks that are in season 3.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Any other characters that are, in your opinion, worth mentioning? The Syrian, he was kind of devious. I did enjoy his role, especially after then watching the prequel season.
Yeah, Asher he's actually probably one of the best characters in the series.
He really is.
Because he's the most devious out of all of them. And he's just so freaking good at it.
He really is. And I do kind of enjoy in the season 2, how much he wanted to be a gladiator. And then, in season 1, how much he still wanted to go and fight with the rest of his brothers, but he never really belonged.
And he always, because of what happened, he always had that animosity towards Crixus, and he was always looking for that payback and that one up. And because he couldn't be a gladiator with them, he wanted to be better than them and like push them down.
Hmm.
Like he was almost the Hunchback off of 300.
It is true. Yes, yes.
Like
May
he
you live
loved them so
forever.
much that he ended up fucking them over because he hated that he couldn't be one of them.
Yes. You're wrong, Leonidas. Well, I guess we're going to have a podcast about the movie 300 at some point too.
Just the comparisons between it and Spartacus.
Yes.
So that was Asher, and then Salonius, obviously. Like
I didn't really
Salonius,
buy the character. I thought that the whole um, nemesis with nemesis aspect with Batiatus was kind of like on flimsy grounds. It was a bit shaky, but after watching the prequel season, I immediately understood like, oh, and I liked so much that they started as great friends.
yeah, you're exactly right. In season 1, Salonius is a prop again, just a weak character,
Yes,
only there for a very specific point. And then after the prequel season, you're like, oh, okay, some of this actually makes some sense now.
indeed, indeed. But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of much or many other characters.
Most of the gladiators were props for Spartacus.
Yes, very much so.
The guy with his net.
Yeah, the bald one.
Yep.
He just fucking shoves him
Yeah.
off the cliff.
Vicious net.
Alright. Let's talk about one of the most important aspects of this damn show, which is, of course, the nudity. What are your opinions on nudity in general, Ninja? Yes or no? Fan or not a fan?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's be honest, like, there are a lot of attractive people in this show, and you see a lot of very cool things.
Yep, absolutely. And like going outside of the fact that it's just great to see that many attractive naked people, it also fit the Roman theme, right? Like
Yes,
these
very much.
were going into the gladiators, like even a lot of the people in the show mentioned the attractiveness of the gladiators and compared them to gods, right down to their blood, saying like the gladiators were the closest walking depiction of the Roman gods.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like to capture what Rome was about, you had to have that sort of a portrayal. Uh, the life of luxury,
The
the
decadence. Yeah.
debauchery, like the decadence, exactly. Like when you mix all of those things together, it gave you a feeling of what was actually going on in their world and what it was like. Um,
The word orgy was literally invented back in the day, I believe.
yeah, like they were very much about how much fun can I have in this life today, right now, and what is the closest thing to godliness and the best that we can have of everything.
Indeed, indeed. For me personally, surprisingly, I never actually like cringed during any of these sex scenes. It never really felt like forced. I actually found hilarious like that every freaking episode in every freaking season had at least one lady in the arena that was like completely losing her shit, just airing her boobs out for no fucking reason. Just like,
They were in a drop, okay?
yeah,
Like
it was
talk
just
to any of the ladies you know here. Under boob sweat is very much an issue.
I see. I will ask around and do my research. But like, yeah, I think it was a very maybe not important part of the show, but it never really detracted from my experience. It just seemed like something that is in place for a reason, and yeah, it was. I don't want to say like it was tastefully done, but it never felt like that was the main reason why I was watching the show for. It was just something in the background that was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Well,
Moving
and
on, I'm still hooked on the plot.
let's not forget, in season 1, one of the biggest pivot moments that locked in a lot of the future scenes and episodes was a sex scene. And that was the one where Lucretia having been spurned and insulted by Alithia, instead of letting Alithia bang Crixus, she let her bang Spartacus, but had them both masked, so neither knew who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Spartacus almost killed Alithia, which
Yes.
got him in shit, but also got Lucretia in shit, and then ended up having Alithia murder the cousin of the richest man in Rome because she was laughing at her over this whole she banged Spartacus thing. So,
Yeah, it is a
like,
very
sex was
good
actually
point.
even a huge plot point.
It really was, and this show truly did a wonderful job. Like these sex scenes literally had a point, a very good point, a story, reason, and then character development and consequences.
Absolutely.
So yeah, one of the other aspects of the nudity in this show, what I kind of appreciated, even though the show is kind of older, it is very much leaning into equality. Like you see a lot of boobs, but you also see a lot of dicks. You see a lot of asses from both genders, and of course you see a lot of fake penises, as we have already established. But like dudes are kissing girls, girls are kissing girls, dudes are kissing dudes, dudes are kissing pigeons. Like everyone's kissing everyone and everything. Dudes are kissing sand that someone pissed into. It's like there is a lot of equality in this show, and I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, sir. Let's close this chapter that is season 1 and tell me your overall thoughts while I'm going to be staring at my empty cup of water that I could really use being filled right now because I'm very thirsty.
That's why I have a 3.8 liter jug.
Oh, I envy you right now. But yeah, we will have a short break soon. But let's finish season 1 and tell me all about it. How
All right,
did
so
you find it?
overall impressions and final thoughts. Season 1 was an amazing foundational season. Like, they covered a lot of ground. I oftentimes, even when I rewatch it, forget how much stuff gets covered in the first season. Um, but a lot of the times when you think about it, you can actually still just revisit certain scenes that give you, I don't know if they just cement the season for you, or if they give you the chills. But like, I sent you the other day, the one of Crixus tapping his fingers on his shield. That's just such an iconic moment for me.
Yes.
Like, that is, yeah. That's where you see his sentence of, in another life we could have been brothers. That's where you see that moment come to life.
I love this is actually one of the reasons why I enjoy the show Pokemon so much because I love when rivals kind of realize down the line that they have a lot of in common, that they share the same journey, and that they were in this together for so long that it does kind of make sense that they would become friends one day. It's kind of inevitable.
And it was like, to me, like, you could see when Crixus said that line, you could see that it resonated with Spartacus. He was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're only opposites because we both want the same thing, but only one of us can have it.
Yeah.
And then in the fight, when Spartacus pointed out, he's like, look, man, you've been poisoned. I'm trying to help you. And Crixus was like, well, now we both actually want the same thing. And it was like, oh, the only reason they hadn't taken over the house before was because they hated each other.
Yes.
You guys are so fucked now. It's like when Thor shows up.
All right. My final thoughts about season 1. It was absolutely wonderful. Like, what a joy of a season. What a ride. I never wanted it to end, but it ended at the perfect moment, I feel like. The final scene was very brutal, very rough to watch, but it was necessary. Like, we saw these gladiators go through literal hell, and it only made sense for them to have their vengeance. Like, I was kind of hoping for like a nice happy ending for everyone, for the school to continue, for Spartacus to be like, oh, I'm gonna fall in love with this lady, that was given to me. I did kind of ship it. I'm gonna be honest, I was on board. I could imagine the two of them to eventually like hooking up for real, and I just enjoyed the fact that he was like, no, I don't want you, go away, they told you to be with me. I love my wife who is dead, you'll never be like her. I was like, oh.
It was Mira.
Yeah, Mira, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just such a good season. The show surprised me so much. I didn't expect it to like it. I thought it would just be like, oh, boobs, sex scenes by, just a lot of blood, fake blood, and CGI. But there was so much more to it, and I'm so glad I gave it a watch because it inspired me to play my character on Nerdhaven Season 2 so much, and I expect you to be my Doctore in the Gladiator School, good sir. I am not accepting any complaints or refusals because yes, you will be my Doctore whether you like it or not. Or you can be my wife.
No, I've seen what happens to all the wives in that series.
Yes. But yeah,
Oh.
I will go grab refill one glass of water, and I will be right back, and we'll finish season 2. It won't take much
Do
longer.
like a 10-minute intermission?
That sounds great.
Perfect.
All right, I will see you back here soon.
You bet.
All right, guys, I'm gonna put on some music real quick, and we're gonna enjoy a little break. So, go have your rest, stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, grab a snack. We'll be right back.
right, I've returned if you're back.
Eating my cornflakes, 2 more minutes.
Yep, no worries.
All right, I've returned.
All right, I'm here as well.
Oh, perfect. Let me tone down the music. There we go. I finished my cornflakes, and for some reason there is a bottle of ketchup next to me, and I don't know why. I don't even remember taking it out of the fridge.
I hate ketchup so much.
Why? What was your choice of condiment then?
Mayonnaise usually.
Ugh, I hate that one. I hate mustard and mayonnaise.
I'm not a big fan of mustard unless it's fancy mustard.
Oh, what makes a mustard fancy?
Well, you can get like Dijon.
Oh, just because it's European?
No, it actually tastes way better.
Oh, I see.
Which is probably just the horseradish or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
The
probably
mustard
just...
itself is trash, but
All right. Well, I hate the idea of ketchup. Like, it smells weird, it's like unhealthy and stuff, but like, I cannot help myself. Like, it makes certain things better for me, despite all of that, so I do partake occasionally.
but if you don't eat hot dogs and hamburgers, what the hell else are you putting it on?
Well, I do eat those, but like, it's complicated. Which is a line that I often resort to whenever I discuss anything in relation to me and food. It's a very complicated relationship, me and food. But like, I always used to enjoy like McDonald's hamburgers. I know those are not hamburgers for many people, especially those who consider hamburger eating like a basic religion. But I always enjoyed like those hamburgers without cheese because I don't eat cheese. So never cheeseburgers, always hamburgers. Happened many times where they gave me cheeseburger and they probably thought I wouldn't notice, or I would be like, oh yeah, free cheese. I'm like, no, I will return this and I demand my hamburger. And if you just
Without your plastic cheese on
yeah,
it.
please, I don't like that. Like back in the day, I was just all I could really eat, not all I could really eat. Like, I would be fine just consuming nothing but hamburgers from McDonald's. These days, if I have a hamburger, my stomach feels like it's about to break. It's just horrible. I hate it. I hate how it makes me feel, and I just try not to. I try to avoid McDonald's like the plague, and yeah, nothing good is ever behind those doors. But
That's actually a neurological response as well. I went on a diet that was very healthy for a while. And after being on that diet for about 2 months and exercising 6 times a week for that 2 months, I was like, hey, I deserve a reward. I'm gonna get some McDonald's. And I got my usual double quarter pounder BLT, right? Just the greasiest form of burger you could get. I started to actually get sick halfway through the burger and it wasn't very good. So I did some research on it. What it is when you get into super fatty foods or very over processed foods, your body can break that down into energy very quickly, which is why it's so bad for you technically. And your brain recognizes that as a good thing because it utilizes that energy. And so it'll start to create an association that when you eat that food, it tastes good, even though it doesn't taste good.
That is super interesting. So almost like your body is trying to protect you from your own mistakes, and it's like revolting against your unhealthy choices.
Yeah, when you make those unhealthy choices a few times, your brain starts to recognize that it wants that, not you. You're not enjoying it, but it wants it. So it'll trick you into thinking it tastes good when it actually doesn't.
Super interesting. We need to have a podcast about food and healthy lifestyle choices.
Yeah, I could do a long one on that one too.
All right, we'll put it on the list after Pokemon.
Start having to make this a monthly thing.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Like
I'm down.
random topics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So I don't even know where I was going with my stupid story. Yes, basically hamburgers for me are like, oh yeah, mustard. I do enjoy McDonald's hamburgers, but like I always try to imagine that there is no mustard in it. Even though I see the yellow, I like wipe it just so I don't see it with my own eyes, and then I like eat it. Like I. I hate a lot of things in the hamburgers. Like I don't like the pickle in the middle. It's like why? It doesn't have to be there. But then I tried to actually like use the function where you can remove certain things out of the order of the hamburger. I like removed the onion because I don't like onions. I removed the pickle in the middle. I also removed the mustard, and all they gave me was like the saddest freaking hamburger ever with just like was just the bun, the meat, and the ketchup. It was gross.
Yeah, that's where the either the double BLT or the double quarter pounder or the double Big Mac come in for me. Is it puts enough meat into it for the bun ratio, and I can take out. I'm the same. I take out onions and pickles. Those are useless things to me. The lettuce is still good, so any of the ones with lettuce. But if you go BLT, you get the lettuce and the tomato.
I am a fan of homemade hamburgers where I can just put something healthy into them, like as you said, as lettuce or any other green leaves. We call it rucola. I don't know if there is an English term for it, but it's like a very healthy.
Arugula.
Yeah, rucola. There we go.
Yep.
It's like it's gross. I hate it. Like to eat it raw would. It's like I don't know, eating gas or like freaking nails. Why am I saying such random things? It's like imagine something gross and put it in your mouth, and that's like eating rucola. So I am not a
But
fan. But like if I combine it in like a hamburger with something, or even like those wraps, it always makes it so much more bearable.
yeah, arugula is a common burger garnish over here. If you're going to fancy places, like if you go to McDonald's or something, it's lettuce. But if you go to a restaurant and order a burger, it's generally going to be arugula or a fancy lettuce.
Oh, interesting. S
But if you watch Gordon Ramsay enough, you will know that you need the lettuce to create a barrier between the burger and the bun to stop the bun from getting too greasy.
Indeed, indeed. Gordon Ramsay makes those beautiful food items that I would never actually eat, but I'm still gonna watch it.
That's how
So,
I make my burgers, is basically the same way he does.
oh, so what is your cheating meal of choice if McDonald's makes you sick? Like you're probably no longer like on that Spartan diet, but I presume you're still adhering to like healthy lifestyle choices.
Yeah, I'm relatively healthy. Like I make homemade kimchi every other week. Um, some people would say I'm not healthy because I eat a lot of red meat. Um, but because of how many calories I burn in a day, red meat is my go-to for my calories basically.
I mean, it does make sense. It's lean protein, right? And you obviously need a lot of it.
And you absorb more protein out of red meat than any other source. Like plant-based proteins, you're generally going to absorb about 50% of the protein,
Oh yeah.
versus red meat is more towards 80 to 90% of the
Mhm,
protein. Or no, 70%. Sorry, chicken is the highest, but
mhm.
there's only so much I could do with chicken.
Yeah, nutrition is such a complicated subject, and like we're not doctors, but like one thing is for certain: plant-based protein is amazing, but like protein isn't protein. Like there are these, it's basically amino acids, right? That are I'm probably way over my head here, but like protein is a very broad term, and you in order for you to adhere to certain healthy lifestyle choices, it's very hard to replace it if you're going for certain diets that don't involve meat, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only the only ways to go about it, this is even including all meats. If you're going to get a full chain of amino acids, you're looking at beans and earthworms. Those are your only
Oh,
two sources.
ugh. I hate those alternative diets that involve like eating bugs and stuff, but like it's probably our future. I don't want to eat
It's
spiders, earthworms, or anything like that. Oh,
Earthworms are a complete food source, basically just like beans.
Jesus.
So stick with the beans.
Yes, and you stick with earthworms because I kind of dread to even imagine like where you extracted this knowledge, probably from personal
the
experience.
I was actually the SAS survival guide.
Oh wow, I don't know what it means, but it sounds cool.
SAS is the British Special Forces.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me more. Like this sounds like a great story.
I just buy a lot of books. Like I'll spend 2 hours in a bookstore, and just if it's interesting, I'll buy it.
That is very
And
cool. Well,
yeah, I
this
was in the survival and do-it-yourself kind of section, and there was a survival guide written by a SAS Forces guy, and I bought it, read it.
wow, I see, I see. Well, we definitely need to have that podcast about healthy lifestyle choices, but let's finish this one first. After all,
Yep.
we do have more Spartacus to discuss, and I actually have a funny revelation to you. You may have noticed that we had like a bunch of slides about season one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this one about season two because I started to feel like, ugh, this is too much work. We just
This is a very good season 2 slide.
it's a good summary,
This,
isn't it?
yep, very much. Like just the amount of implication in this one slide.
All right, Mr. Ninja, let's not beat around the bushes and tell me why the prequel, why not a sequel? What happened? What unfortunate incident occurred in the show?
So, for those of you who don't know, and as John is alluding to, the season 2 of Spartacus was actually technically a prequel season. It showed the build up for season 1, kind of, as well as some of the missing pieces to what happens in Batiatus's house and how it got to be the way it is. And this was never actually planned by the directors or the writers. What had happened was the actor portraying Spartacus actually ended up getting cancer. It was a really sad thing, but he was so loved and so perfect for the role that they actually on short notice wrote and developed a prequel season for season 2 because they wanted to keep the momentum of the series going, but they didn't want to lose their Spartacus actor. Now, unfortunately, during season 2, he did end up passing away, so they did end up having to replace Spartacus. But it's probably one of the most honorable things I've seen in television before, is the fact that they actually created a whole season and cast it with new people and continued with those new people in later seasons and wrote parts for them, all because they wanted to save a spot for that actor.
Yeah, they essentially wanted to give him some more time to get better, which unfortunately he didn't manage, and it was completely heartbreaking for me to read about this. Like, I I felt so sad, like for everyone involved, but like at the same time, it's like such a beautiful thing, from
Yeah.
this season, from this show. Many shows would just recast, they would just find someone new, but like they literally wrote a prequel just to give him some more time to get better.
And cast it. Like,
And
that's the crazy
what a
part too,
season
is
it
it
was!
yeah. And like it wasn't like they half-assed it. They really put in a lot of work to give this guy the time. And when you think about it, imagine what he was going through, and for him to know that this is the only time Hollywood has ever really been stopped for somebody to get better.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, the fact that they pulled off this amazing of a season, brought in amazing actors and characters, and the writers, like, those writers should have gotten so many awards for this because it's so unorthodox for Hollywood.
Indeed, indeed. Like such an underrated show. Like I am actually genuinely surprised I didn't have like more people forcing me to watch this. uh,
That was, um, what? I can't remember which server it was, but I think it might have been after season 5 TOO that I got Jess to watch Spartacus,
oh,
and then it
nice.
spread from there. Like, I get anybody I can to watch Spartacus.
And it
So
was
I'm like,
actually
this is the
ultimately you.
greatest show nobody has ever watched.
Yeah, you definitely pitched it and sold it for me. I was like, well, I could just watch Gladiator again with Russell Crowe, but I feel like maybe I should broaden my horizons a bit more if I'm about to run a gladiator school. And my goodness, this show couldn't have been more perfect for it. It, yeah, I'm so glad I gave it a watch, and I have you to thank for it. You know, you were the one who basically, yeah, sold the idea for me, and I'm so glad I give it a watch.
It's, yeah, it's, this is one of those series that I can keep coming back to, and it's only because it's such a complete experience. It's not like I'm watching it for the fighting. Like, let's face it, in 300, I'm not watching 300 for the storyline. I'm watching it for the fighting. Like, it's, to me, I've always looked at 300 as a freaking awesome ballet with some talking in between the dances.
Mm-hmm.
But in Spartacus, like, amazing writing, amazing acting, amazing characters. Um, and I've seen it 7 times, and there's still moments where it's actually eliciting emotion out of me.
Side note, I might actually be the only person in the world who watches the movie 300 for the story and like for the characters. It's like I'm such a sucker. I don't even care. I like skip through the battle scenes at this point, but I like
Holy
love the
shit.
atmosphere.
Yeah, for 300 for me, it's like I
It's a
go to the
beautiful story of
orchestra.
sacrifice, Ninja.
I go to the orchestra once in a while, right? That's what 300 is for me. Is I want a show and presentation, but I'm not sitting there going like, oh, this is some deep dialogue, and I really like the way he's chewing that apple while he's talking.
Thank you, preacher. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. But yeah, I very much agree about your sentiment about the entire show. It's such an underrated show, and more people need to see this, and that is why we're here to hopefully pitch it to you and to convince you to give it a watch because
To
it's amazing.
force all of you into a watch party. I'll yell at you when you interrupt Gannicus.
All right, tell me about Gannicus, Ninja. Your absolutely most favorite character from the show, I presume.
That's a pretty safe assumption. So
Why? Why?
he is he flies completely in the face of Animus, Spartacus, Crixus, everybody. There is nobody in the show that has anything in common with Gannicus. They never go over how he became a gladiator or why he's there or anything. The fact is, he loves it. He's
Mm-hmm.
not there for honor. He's not there. He's not even there for money, really. Like, he spends all of his money on everybody else in the ludus. Like, he gets his winnings. He's a champion. He's a complete ass kicker, showboater. Like,
And for
he
completely
takes his
different
winnings.
reasons than Crixus. You could say the
Yeah,
same thing about him. Like he also wanted nothing more than to be the champion. But like him, Gannicus, he almost is like the product of the arena. He was made for it. He was created for it, and he's just best at everything. He has maxed out like all the sliders. He's 10 out of 10 in athleticism, in fighting, maybe not like in projectile throwing, but he shout out to season 3. I hope you
yep.
enjoyed this reference. But I yeah, I dislike him. Like for me, he's just too good. He is never really in danger for me, and whenever he like lets Grixis win, I'm like, ugh, you fucking asshole, I hate you. But like I appreciate him, I understand him, and season three, the last season, I mean, made me enjoy him so much more. In this prequel season, I actively cheered against him, and I cheered for freaking Grixis because I really enjoyed like where he started and his progression, and I was so glad that he actually like turned out to be a badass.
Yep, absolutely. And it was, I mean, that was, I felt like by the time Gannicus came in, that was the contrast that they needed for the show. He was a lackluster playboy who just he was there for a good time. He wanted
Yes.
to party. If he won, he spent all his money on booze and whores for everybody in the Ludus. Like he wanted to just everybody to have a good time. And it was the same thing when he fought. He wasn't fighting just to win. He was fighting to put on a hell of a show. He wanted
Hmm.
people to be just right into it. He wanted to give them the experience of a lifetime when they watched him fight.
He is basically the professional wrestler. He's like Shawn Michaels, just like a superstar who is larger than life. And for me, he's like, I guess that is what the gladiators used to be, back in the day, and he was like the best of them.
It was very much like when you go back to Rome, it wasn't always just how well you fought. It was how much of a show because you lived or died based on whether the crowd liked you or not.
Hmm.
Like
And
even if you were a shitty fighter, if it looked good and the crowd liked you, you were not going to die.
mhm.
They were
and
going to protect you.
and that is actually one of my favorite messages of the movie Gladiator, with Russell Crowe, Proximo and his school. Like that is his biggest lesson to him. Like you will not earn your freedom or you will not earn your glory if you're just the best fighter. You also need to entertain the crowd. Get the crowd on your side, and that is what gives you the advantage over others.
Exactly.
And Gannicus
It just
knew about this
yeah.
lesson.
And it just so happened too that he was also super amazing at fighting. Because yeah,
Yeah.
like that line that you mentioned, I stand your equal with sword, but you have me by fucking spear. And just the way he's so casual about all of it. Like they just massacred a bunch of Romans and Spartacus chucked a spear and like nailed a guy off of a horse with minimal
Mhm.
effort. He's like Gannicus is like, holy fuck, that was awesome.
Yeah. And I think that he might actually be the best athlete, like of all the actors. Like you kind of believe him, like his moves, the way he like swings those swords. He's such a badass. There is no doubt.
Oh yeah. That I think like one of the things that really got me into his character, besides like just the fact that he's so happy go
Hello,
lucky and
Sassy.
all that, was the fight in the prequel season in the marketplace against Vedius's shit.
Oh my god, yes, when he was fighting blind.
Exactly. And it was the point where even Batiatus was like, no, fuck this, we're out of this. And Gannicus steps forward, he's like, nah, fuck it, give me the blindfold, let's fight.
I did enjoy that scene. I was actually actively cheering for him to die. I was like, are they really gonna kill him?
But it was like again, that was like the only things in Gannicus's mind was party as hard as I can until somebody kills me in the arena.
Yes.
That was his whole objective to life. He had nothing else until
Oh. That is probably the single biggest reason why I hated him so much this season.
Yep. And yeah, I think the reason that you haven't changed any of your opinions is because you missed an entire
Oh
season.
no.
Like, if you remember, sorry, P Fund. So in the prequel season, Batiatus, being the scheming bastard that he is, he wants to elevate his household. So he ends up inviting these really illustrious Romans who are, like most Romans, very sleazy people who want a very lavish lifestyle. They want experiences that other people can't have. So everybody has heard about gladiators and what they can do and their physical prowesses. So the owner, Batiatus, makes Gannicus have sex with
One of the slaves.
Animaeus. Yeah, Animaeus's wife, who's another slave.
Or you should have just said with animes. End of sentence.
Yeah.
Daddy.
So And then because they know all the damage that this could do, they force Gannicus and Animeus' wife into silence about the whole thing. So like if you talk about it, Animeus will want to kill both of you. And so they have to keep it a secret. But they end up falling in love over it. And in the end, effectively, she ends up dying over it.
I hated
Without
it.
Animeus or Gannicus ever talking about it. Nobody knows what happened.
My least favorite part about this season, no doubt. Like, I hated that it had to be that way. Like, why couldn't just Animes and his wife like live happily ever after? And she, why couldn't she just die like of cancer or something? Like, you know, freaking die with honor. And it's just like, why? Why did she have to? Like, she obviously loved Animes and like him. Gannicus fucking loved Animes, and they both cheated on him. Like the nicest person in the show. Why did he have to be? Uh,
and
They did him dirty, my
the
boy.
biggest problem is like if you look at the situation from the outside, it never would have happened without Batiatus being a sleazeball who's trying to climb the ranks by showing off to people who think nothing of him.
Yeah.
So it's that reoccurring theme in the series where they pull people back and they're like, guess what? These people that you love and you think they're getting along with everyone in the house and these rich people dote on them. Nope. They're still just toys for these people to do whatever they want with.
I honestly believe that animators would totally understand like why it happened, and I don't actually believe they would ever do it again if they actually talked and animators would be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry I had to go through this. You know, I no, it's not my place to forgive you because it wasn't your fault, but I, you know, love Gannicus. I couldn't imagine like a better friend, you know, to do this almost with you, like better than fucking Crixus, right?"
That's exactly it. Like I think Adamaeus probably would have killed his wife and just married Gannicus.
No, I hate you. Why? Oh my god.
It's
Your
yeah.
love affair with Gannicus need to stop here.
Yeah, I think like for my favorites, it's probably between Gannicus and Animeus, and probably because they're such contrasts to each other. Like they are opposite characters, but they're also the two closest out of everyone.
hmm I speaking of contrasts and those who are close to each other, I enjoyed so much the fact that Solonius and Batiatus were so close, so friendly, and like you could basically the entire show I was like waiting for the moment where they turn against each other, and they prolonged it so much. They like literally did it like at the latest possible moment in the last episode of the
Oh
season.
yeah. Yeah. And it was like you could see it coming just because of the way Batiatus was. Like Salonius was just a way better person than Batiatus.
Oh yeah.
He was honorable and everything. And it was Batiatus's douchebaggery that was basically switching him over. Like it was what made Salonius the way he is.
Indeed, indeed.
But it was
But
almost like if you look at the interactions between Salonius and Batiatus, it's almost like an opposite Crixus and Spartacus,
yes. The,
where they started as the best of friends and worked together and stuff. And then in the end, they wanted the same thing, but only one of them could have it. So it
mhm,
set them at each other. Whereas Spartacus and Crixus was the opposite.
indeed. The one thing about I totally lost my train of thought. Never mind. the Oh my god, what was I trying to say? It was about Batiatus. Oh yeah, almost had it. Urgh! Grasping at straws here. Uh, yes, the one redeeming thing about Batiatus, I feel like was his father, and I did enjoy his kind of inability to deal with him, like his refusal to even hurt him, even though he kind of knew that it would solve all of his problems. The scene at the Colosseum, I was convinced he would just smack him over the head with that piece of wood. And this is
Yep.
not a sex scene, by the way. We're talking about an actual piece of wood. Not like a silicone one, but like, you know, actual freaking firm, solid. Never mind.
Not a
What?
prosthetic.
Yes, not a prosthetic. What I'm trying to say is that I did enjoy like how much of an asshole his father was, and how it basically made Batiatus powerless, and how his wife emerged to be the poisoner. You know, the one who uh, basically saves him and herself in the process from the looming shadow of his father, from this burden and from this obstacle. It made total sense, and it very much established, their characters for the upcoming season, which was the season one.
Absolutely. And it was like it showed very much, especially when it came down to it, with Marius's father dying. He very much said that he hoped Lucretia wasn't the serpent that he always saw her as. And she was the serpent, like the with the apple and everything. She was the
Yes.
one twisting Batiatus all the time and pushing him to do these things that, yes, they would elevate him, but it was the wrong way to go about it, because I never really saw Batiatus's father as an asshole. He was a fun wrecker, and like he got rid of all the cool fun stuff that was going on in the house. But he was a proper Roman, right? He was going through the proper chains of knowing his role, basically. Like he wasn't nobility, but he wasn't a poor man. He served a purpose and he did it well. Like he had champions upon champions upon champions out of his house, but he never strived for that next step. And that's what set him and his son apart, was his son wanted more, and put a lot aside to for his father. Like he mentions that he wanted to go into the military so that he could get into politics, right? Because if you serve in the military, you're more than just a citizen, right? You become a little bit elevated,
Indeed.
and it holds a lot for your career in the future. He could have elevated their political status to be higher than a lanista, much like what was it was Vedius and the because Vedius is one of the pictures that you've got right there, and
Oh
then
yeah,
there's
he's currently
the
relieving
guy
himself on someone's face.
Vedius, there was a guy above Vedius that Batiatus dealt with, and Batiatus's father dealt with.
Hmm.
He was more of a noble. He was rich, right?
Yes.
Um, so Batiatus's father dealt with someone like him a lot and could have been elevated by someone like him, but never sought to.
Those two were great bad guys for the season, and I gotta
So
say,
good.
like the the scene where they just pissed over each other was gross. So, but like so effective. Like if I wanted to truly insult someone, first beat them half to death and like, piss in their face. Like it's so demeaning.
Yep.
But like I was so glad that they eventually like you knew that Badias from that moment on he was planning everything to like get back to him, and he did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Back when Barca was around.
oh my goodness, Barca. We never even mentioned him on season one, but
The Beast of Carthage.
yes. Well, speaking of other notable characters in this show, have you ever seen the show Dexter?
Yep.
Jamie Murray, or as Deborah called her, the gross British titty vampire. Pardon my tits, one of her famous lines from Dexter.
I'm not sure that I saw that much of Dexter.
Season 2. A very good season, and she's a very good character in it, and that's how I immediately made a connection, and I was very happy to see her in this show. She was kind of strange, but I did enjoy her friendship and camaraderie with Lucretia. I think it was very
Okay,
nice.
that's the one who plays Gaia.
Yeah, yeah, the one who plays Guy.
Okay, okay.
Apologies.
Yeah, she she laid a lot of the groundwork for the development in Lucretia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
It,
she was kind of a prop, but like I can't keep using that word for someone like her who actually had some acting and some story hooks,
yeah, she was a
and
story catalyst, I would even say, or a catalyst for character development for Lucretia.
big time, because she even left behind a legacy with the wig.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is true. Her wig eventually ends up being Lucretia's main hair.
Yep, exactly. That was Lucretia's famous red hair comes from the fact that her friend Gaia got her head smashed.
It's a bit depressive, but
as an homage to her, she
yeah.
started wearing her wig.
You
But
killed
she
my
had her
best
head
friend.
caved
I'm
in.
gonna wet her hair now. So that I'll
But
never forget her.
Gaia was one of the ones who really showed the depravity of Rome. She was the one who brought in all of those rich, famous people who had all that power into the house, is because she knew them all from basically doing drugs with them in Rome.
Oh yeah, she was very into opium.
Yep, the opium and the wine. That was
Mhm.
her biggest driving factor.
Yeah, that's basically her main contribution to this show: opium and the wine, and kissing just everyone.
So she brought the one guy. That was the one that made Gannicus bang Animaeus's wife. And then
Sad,
he
sad moment.
brought another one back. That was Cassius, which was one of like the grossest characters in the entire series.
Oh my god, you mean the scene where Asher's friend who couldn't speak English or, Latin, like,
Oh,
the scene where he was like, oh yeah, he totally enjoys being rammed in the ass. You should really
yeah.
go with him.
You should not be gentle with him, brother.
Yes. That was great.
No, I'm talking about. So Cassius was the one so there was the Roman guy who was looking for gladiators, and Gaia set it up so that he came to the house. They beat the shit out of the kid so that he couldn't show up, right?
Oh yeah.
And then, so this guy shows up and he's looking for gladiators, and Gaia's there. So they get drunk. She gives him some opium. He wants to see someone bang. So, Gannicus and Animaeus's wife have to bang.
How many
Then
times are you gonna
later,
repeat it? God damn it.
then later, that guy comes back, but he's got his little friend who's got like a bowl cut hair and makeup on.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of chubbier. That's Cassius. Now he decides he needs a show because otherwise the other guy is going to cancel purchasing any of the gladiators for his fights. So
Mhm.
that's when one of the slave girls has to bang Rascos, the really disgusting Gaul.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Oh, it
this
was the lady
gross.
who was basically a virgin, and she definitely wasn't a fan, and it
Exactly.
was like a very dark moment. Definitely one of the less fun things to talk about this show. There's a lot of rape, and it's often used in a very it's very it's a very dark
It's meant
depiction.
to disturb you. Like
Yeah,
they wrote around it the creating of the scene and everything to be dark and disturbing. Like it was one thing that the writers really managed to capture was the depravity of the Romans,
mm-hmm.
how they wanted to portray things. And I mean, he even said the line, he's like, do you know why I picked this grotesque creature? Because everybody needs to know that there's disgusting things in life, and blah blah blah. He goes on about how awful the stuff is.
Yeah,
And it was that character, even though he only had like 3-bit parts in the whole series, was just every time you see him, your skin crawls
indeed, very gross.
until he gets um when they yeah, okay, that's season 2. When they
Oh
burn
my
down the
god.
arena.
Oh well,
You saw that, right? When they burned down the arena.
I think I saw it like from like a flashback from season 3.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, that's right. That's season. Yeah, that's the real season 3. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you saw the flashback. Oof.
Well, at least
Oh,
I
that's
know.
not too much of a spoiler. That guy ends up getting a spear through him.
Oh god. I cannot wait. I will be eagerly awaiting his death.
Yeah, man, because that's the season where like Spartacus versus Gaius.
Oh.
Like that is the whole season.
Wow. Well, I actually thought that they just skipped over it, like they couldn't get the actor, and that was it. I just.
So they're like, yeah, these things happened on to the finale.
Oh my god, I really have to like start watching it right now. This is crazy. But yeah, this is basically season 2, the prequel of the show Spartacus. I think we went over everything we kind of considered the main features of the show, the main characters, the main storylines and plot points. You recapped it so well that I actually feel like I gained a deeper understanding and an even deeper appreciation of the show. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a lot of fun. 2 hours and freaking almost 30 minutes. I think that's impressive for two nerds.
We've covered maybe half of it.
We barely scratched the surface. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many other things to talk about, so many other amazing moments to discuss, like so many quotes to say and share. But I feel like we will keep the quotes for the second part of our podcast that will happen, I don't know, next week. We can probably do it in like a few days, who knows. We'll definitely come up with some kind of a time window that fits your schedule, good sir. And yeah, we will continue with the season I skipped over foolishly, and of course season 3, which is amazing and very sad, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
I just finished season 3, so I think I might actually rewatch season 2 in the meantime.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess I have my homework. I guess it's late and I should go to bed, but thank you again, of course, good sir. Where can people find you? Do you have anything to promote? You know what podcasters always ask their lovely guests. Give me something that would make you happy, where we could send these people, which is basically just P-Fund, Tony K, Sassy, potential Nephilim.
Well, you can always DM me in John's Discord. Find me in Nerd Haven while role playing, and that's about it. I also moderate a little Twitch stream for somebody named John Aaron.
This is so sad. I gave you a chance, I gave you a platform, and you're promoting everything I do. At least pretend that you have something. At least pretend that this is like an actual show. I just didn't pick you like, you know, from the few people that actually are
so
in my community.
I do have something that I have to admit, a confession, if you will.
Oh dear.
The only reason I did this show was so that more people would watch Spartacus, so that people would understand the gifts that I post in your Discords.
There we go.
So.
Thank you. Finally, an agenda. But yeah, Ninja is absolutely correct. Everyone needs to see this show. It's amazing. It has a little something for everyone. Like, I know that we made it sound a bit gross at times, a bit naturalistic, a bit rough, a bit harsh, a bit nudie, but there is a lot of humor in it. There is a lot of drama in it. There is a lot of romance. There is, I would honestly say, a lot for everyone. There are beautiful people in it. There are gross people in it. There are heroes. There are amazing female characters. There are amazing male characters. There are amazing gay characters. So literally go watch it. Give it a chance. You will not regret it. Like, after watching like the first 2 episodes of season 1, you will immediately know whether you will like the rest of the show or not. And I think I can safely say that you will enjoy it if you give it a chance.
Otherwise, we'll ban you from everything.
Yes, or by Jupiter's cock, I will spread your cheeks and ram something in them. So don't make me do it.
Fuck the gods.
Fuck the gods. All right, good sir, you are released for now, but I will be reaching out to you soon, and we will schedule another session where we will discuss season 3 and 4.
Absolutely.
And I cannot wait.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good one. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend, and I will see you around.
You bet. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this special episode of our little podcast. Ninja, it was amazing. I am so glad that he agreed to do this. He was actually so excited about it because I really felt like he wanted to talk about this show, but I knew that it would be an experience. I knew it would be a ride, and I am so glad that we could do this, that we could stream it for you. And I hope this little shitty presentation was at least partially helpful to your consumption of this podcast. We will be back. There are more topics to discuss. There are more seasons to just nerd all over. And I also hope that this kind of give you an idea of what's coming on our season 2 of Nerd Haven, the Ancient Civilizations, because Conan Exiles definitely offers a lot of opportunities to explore this kind of RP, and we will definitely leverage this huge potential. And you will very soon hear more details about that. So, on that note, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will have a lovely rest of your day, a weekend, and let's go rate Ellie, because she was here before. She chatted with us in the chat of this little podcast, so let's go see what she's up to. Probably some GTA. Let's go give her a little rate and let's see what she's up to. Alright, have a good one. Bye bye.